For centuries, the Arctic was seen as the end of the world, a frozen ocean locked beneath thick ice, too cold to settle, too dangerous to navigate, too remote to matter. For most of human history, it was a place explorers feared more than they understood. But today, something extraordinary is happening. The ice that protected the Arctic for thousands of years is disappearing. And with every kilometer of ice that melts, something new is being revealed. New shipping routes, untapped oil and natural gas, rare minerals, military opportunities, and one of the greatest geopolitical prizes of the 21st century. The Arctic is no longer the edge of the world, it is becoming its center. Russia is expanding its military presence. The United States is strengthening its Arctic strategy. China, despite being thousands of kilometers away, now calls itself a near-Arctic state. The race has already begun, not for territory alone, but for influence. Because whoever shapes the Arctic could influence global trade, energy, security, and the balance of power for decades to come. So why is the Arctic becoming so important? Why are the world's most powerful nations turning their attention north? And could the melting of one frozen ocean reshape the future of the entire planet? To answer that, we first need to understand what makes the Arctic unlike anywhere else on Earth. The Arctic is often imagined as a frozen desert at the very top of the planet, but it is much more than that. At its center lies the Arctic Ocean, surrounded by 8 countries: Russia, Canada, the United States through Alaska, Norway, Denmark through Greenland, Iceland, Sweden, and Finland. For thousands of years, thick sea ice made this region one of the most inaccessible places on Earth. Few people lived here. Few ships crossed it, and for most governments, the Arctic remained a distant frontier rather than a strategic priority. That isolation protected the region, but it also hid enormous opportunities beneath the ice. The biggest reason is climate change. The Arctic is warming far faster than the rest of the world. Scientists call this Arctic amplification. Ice acts like a giant mirror, reflecting much of the sun's energy back into space. As that ice melts, darker ocean water is exposed. Instead of reflecting sunlight, the ocean absorbs it. The warmer water melts even more ice, creating a feedback loop that accelerates warming. Each summer, larger areas of open water appear where thick sea ice once dominated. For wildlife and Arctic communities, these changes bring serious challenges. For governments and businesses, however, they also reveal opportunities that were impossible just a few decades ago. One of the biggest opportunities is global trade. Today, most cargo moving between Europe and Asia travels through the Suez Canal or around southern Africa. These routes are long, expensive, and vulnerable to disruptions. The Arctic offers another possibility. The Northern Sea route, which follows Russia's Arctic coastline, can shorten some voyages between Europe and Asia by thousands of kilometers. That means lower fuel costs, faster deliveries, and potentially cheaper trade. Canada's Northwest Passage may also become more accessible in the future, although it remains more difficult to navigate. If Arctic shipping becomes reliable, global trade routes could gradually shift north, changing the geography of international commerce. The Arctic's importance isn't just about shipping. Beneath the region lie vast reserves of oil and natural gas, along with minerals essential for modern technology. These include nickel, copper, cobalt, and rare earth elements used in electric vehicles, wind turbines, smartphones, and advanced defense systems. As demand for these resources grows, countries are looking more closely at the Arctic. For decades, thick ice made extraction extremely difficult. Now, as access improves and technology advances, interest is increasing. But exploiting these resources also raises environmental concerns, as industrial activity in one of Earth's most fragile ecosystems carries significant risks. No country has invested more heavily in the Arctic than Russia, It has the longest Arctic coastline and views the region as central to its economy and national security. Russia has modernized military bases, expanded its fleet of nuclear-powered icebreakers, and developed infrastructure along the Northern Sea route. The region also supports a significant share of Russia's natural gas production, making it strategically important beyond military considerations. By strengthening its Arctic presence, Russia aims to secure trade routes, protect energy resources, and reinforce its influence in the far north. Russia is not the only country paying attention. The United States has renewed its Arctic strategy, recognizing the region's growing importance for national security and global trade. Canada continues to invest in Arctic infrastructure and sovereignty. Norway, Finland, and other northern European countries are strengthening cooperation on security and emergency preparedness. NATO has also increased its focus on the High North as the strategic environment evolves. Then there is China. Although it has no Arctic coastline, China describes itself as a near-Arctic state and has invested in scientific research, shipping, and partnerships connected to the region. Its long-term interest is shaped by trade, resource security, and future transport links between Asia and Europe. For all of these countries, the Arctic represents more than ice. It represents future influence. The Arctic is entering a period of profound change. Longer navigation seasons could transform global shipping. New resource projects may reshape energy and mineral markets. At the same time, melting ice threatens ecosystems, wildlife, indigenous communities, and contributes to rising sea levels worldwide. The Arctic is becoming a place where environmental change and geopolitical competition intersect. How countries manage those competing pressures will influence not only the region itself, but also the wider international system. For centuries, the Arctic was protected by ice. Its harsh climate kept people away and limited global interest. Today, that protection is weakening. As the ice retreats, the Arctic is becoming more accessible and more strategically important. The future of the region will depend on decisions made by governments, businesses, scientists, and local communities in the years ahead. The Arctic may still look like the top of the world, but increasingly it is becoming one of the places where the future of the world will be shaped. Thank you for watching The Global Lens. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more videos exploring geography, geopolitics, global trade, and the forces shaping our world. See you in the next video.